There are thousands of chess tournaments played every year, and with so much choice, it can be overwhelming to decide which one you're going to attend. Ideally, a chess tournament should be right for your rating level, and it should be a lot of fun to play. So in this video, I'm going to share my 7-point system for how I choose which chess tournaments to show up to. My name's Nathan Rose. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I do all kinds of great content around chess, including videos like this one where I'm sharing advice on how to play in tournaments. I also do game reviews of games that I've played myself and also from strong masters of the past, and also tips on how to improve your game. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of it. So a little about me. I'm a club level chess player, rated around 1750 at the time of recording this video. So I'm no grandmaster, but I do take my chess seriously, and when I show up to a tournament, I want to have an awesome experience. Often I'm traveling for these tournaments, so they're a big commitment of time and money, and making the right choice as to which one you turn up to has a huge bearing on your overall experience. So I've got this list that I've prepared, and what we're going to do first of all is head over to the FIDE website. So FIDE, the International Chess Federation, has a calendar of tournaments. So you should know about this. Depending on when you're watching the video, maybe the interface or the website will have changed a little, but essentially calendar tournaments is where you want to go to. And here you can start to filter different tournaments by date range. You can also choose which time control, whether it's standard, rapid, or blitz. You've also got the individual country websites as well. So, for example, the United States Chess Federation, they have their own website. Just search for the upcoming tournaments on their site or whichever country you're in. Each chess federation has their own site, of course. You can search by state on the US site. You can choose whether you want online or offline, and when you just click apply, you'll see a big list of tournaments to pick from. Okay, but once you've got that list of tournaments, this is where my system comes in as to how to filter them out. The first criteria is the time control. You've got standard, also known as classical, rapid, and blitz. So think of these as slow, medium, and fast. Standard or classical chess may see both players get 90 minutes at the start of the game, and perhaps even more time after a certain number of moves have been played. For example, an extra 30 minutes after 40 moves. Rapid will be more like 10 to 15 minutes per player at the start of the game. And then blitz, that's very fast. That's where there's only 3 to 5 minutes on the clock to start the game. So everyone's different as to what their preference is. Standard is my favorite myself. I think it's the greatest test of a player's chess skills. It's where both players are taking the game the most seriously, and as a result, you can go deep into the analysis, deep into calculation, and deep into the position. But rapid is a fine choice as well. That means you can get more games in a single day. Like you could have 6 games of rapid reasonably. It would be impossible to do that with classical. It just would take too much time. So that's the first one. Choose which format you want to play. The second criteria is the total length of the tournament. Now this really comes down to how much time you've got to dedicate to playing chess. If you want to play in a long tournament, there are definitely options to suit that. But then there's also like this one in Estonia, which is just 1 day. And then there's ones like this one in Switzerland, which are, it looks like a weekend, perhaps including a Friday night. But then there are ones which last an entire week. These will be classical tournaments where there'll be 1 or 2 classical games per day and perhaps 9 rounds in total. So you need a lot of time to fit that in. The third thing you need to look at is the number of games per day. If you're playing in a classical tournament, there'll be a huge difference between your experience of 1 game per day versus 2 games per day. I've got here a tournament which has got 1 game per day. If you scroll down, you can see that each day features just 1 game, and that's going to allow plenty of time for things outside of chess. You could probably do some sightseeing. You'll be more relaxed and refreshed between your games. Also, opening preparation can play a larger part. If you like to prepare for your upcoming opponent, you'll learn about them the night before, and then there'll be a pretty long stretch of time until you get to play them. That doesn't happen so much in tournaments with 2 games per day. For example, this Amsterdam Chess Open has 2 games per day. It's a weekend tournament, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 games per day. That's a lot of chess. Take it from me. If you're playing in a classical tournament with 2 games per day, you don't really have time for much else. You'll be pretty exhausted, but it is of course a way to get more chess crammed in to a shorter space of time. And also, if you don't want to do opening preparation, then 2 games per day means that neither you nor your opponent is going to have much time for it. So there's pros and cons to both. Also, some tournaments have a mixture. For example, this Reykjavik Open has some days where there's 1 game per day, for example this Wednesday, and then this Thursday has got 2 rounds, and then back to 1 round, and then 2 rounds. So the hybrid model is also fairly common, but just take a look at what you're in for before you sign up to the tournament. The 4th thing to consider is the rating range of the tournament. There are some tournaments, like this one, where there is no restriction on the rating of those who sign up. So you could have anyone from titled players all the way down to beginners, all within the same field. And then you've got tournaments like this one here, where there is an A tournament, a B tournament, and a C tournament. The A tournament is for those who are above 2050, the B tournament is for those between 2049 down to 1700, and then the C tournament for those below 1700. Personally, I prefer the ones with a restriction on rating. It's going to mean you get more games against opponents who are similar in strength to you, whereas in those open tournaments, you can get mismatches, particularly in the early rounds. And there's different thoughts on this. Like Ben Feingold, he famously advocates that if you want to improve, you should always go into the strongest category that you can. So play the titled players and get destroyed by them, but learn from the experience is the thinking. But you've always got to balance this with enjoyment. Chess is meant to be fun after all, and you may get discouraged if you play in a category which is too strong for your current level. So that has covered off everything there is to know about the format of the tournament itself, whether it's classical, rapid or blitz, number of games per day, rating categories. But for me, when I'm looking for a tournament to play in, I still want more. I want to make sure that I have as much fun as possible. And one way to do that is to look for tournaments where they organise side events. For example, when I was playing in Riga, the organisers had arranged a tour for the players where you could go and see some of the important sites related to the life of Mikhail Tal, the Latvian world champion between 1960 and 1961. So here's me visiting his statue. We also got to see where he lived, and we also got to see where he died. This is his tombstone, and you could even leave a tribute down the bottom, a little chess piece as some others had done. There are many different types of side events. Sometimes they run Grandmaster Simuls. I've even seen events where they have a boat cruise, playing blitz on a boat with the other players. This can really add to the enjoyment of the tournament. So look out for tournaments with side events. Whenever possible, I also like to choose tournaments which are played in beautiful, interesting locations. And I do this because I've experienced the opposite. I played in a chess tournament in a place called Pirot in Serbia, which I'm afraid to say, was not beautiful and was not interesting. The tournament was fine, but as I cycle through these photos, I think you'll agree that the town didn't really have much else going for it. On the other hand, I've also played in tournaments in places like Budapest, which are gorgeous. I mean, look at that view. You can see the amazing architecture. You can see the many bridges across the Danube lit up at night. You can indulge in one of the hot thermal baths which are scattered throughout the city. All things which add to the experience of travelling to a chess tournament. When I'm playing chess, the royal game, I like to have an experience outside of the 64 squares to match. This last criteria may be somewhat controversial, but it's important to me, and I know many other adult players feel the same way. I'm looking for tournaments where there is not too much junior participation, for a couple of reasons. For one thing, juniors tend to be underrated, much more so than adult players, because kids are improving so quickly that often their rating at the start of the tournament is way out of line with their actual strength. I've had many cases of playing someone who's rated 1400 but playing like they're 2000, which means that if you lose to them, you're going to lose a lot more rating points than you should, and if you beat them, you're going to gain fewer rating points than you should. So that's not fun. And the second thing is the social aspect. After the game is over, I like to analyze the game with my opponent, perhaps go for a drink with them, maybe even dinner if we get on well. But you can't really do that with a 10-year-old. Often they just shuffle off, they go back to their parents, understandably, of course. I mean, they're a 10-year-old kid, but it doesn't mean I have to enjoy the experience. So this is an example, what I've got on the screen here, of a tournament which I was invited to, looked at, but rejected because when I saw the starting list, it's just a complete nightmare when it comes to the number of juniors that are going to be playing. Look, under 16, under 14, under 16, under 14, under 12, going down the list, right? Under 10, more players, under 14, under 12, under 16, under 8, under 12. This is not the type of chess tournament that I'm going to enjoy, frankly. So it is an important criteria for me. So if I can, I'll get the starting list and check the age profile of who else has signed up already. And if there's too many kids, I won't play. Tournament chess can be an incredible experience. You get to immerse yourself in the game, surrounded by other enthusiasts, and I hope that this list helps you find some amazing events to play in real soon. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and want more, and drop a comment. I'd love to hear what your favourite chess tournaments are. I'm always looking at new ones to play in myself. So let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. This is Nathan Rose. Bye for now.